Hi, I'm Dr. Mindy Shaw, and I'm so excited about the possibility of this new venture where I can communicate with the world at large in regard to social, emotional, and daily living skills. So I was thinking that the setting of this show could be in a neighborhood bookstore. Perhaps it would be called, Welcome to Our Friendly Neighborhood Bookstore. And in the bookstore, there would be all sorts of books. And one of the books that would be, one type of book that would be on the display would be my books. And then topics would occur in each episode that has to do with one of the topics in one of the many books that I have. I have a number of books, and within each book there's about 3 or 2 stories. So there's lots of possibilities. And I was thinking what could happen is my granddaughter can come into the bookstore. Her name is Olivia, and my name is Minmin, and she could say something like this. Hi, Minmin. Today, there were a lot of bullying at school, and we can talk about that. But prior to talking about that, we can actually zoom into the real life situation where kids are being bullied at school, because I think that would be a great way to really get the kids' attention when they're watching the episode. And then after that scene occurs, then we would go back into Olivia and I talking about what we can do, what strategies we can use when we have bullies in our lives. And we can not only talk about them, but since we have a book on bullying, each of the books, what makes this so interesting is that each of the books have learning lessons and talking points at the end. So after there's a story that it's a nonfiction story that really happened with Olivia, after we talk about it, then there's learning lessons that can get discussed. And so when we discuss the learning lessons, we can even point out the books. But it's not necessary. The reason I'm filming this is because I want you to know that I have skin in the game and that I'm being reflective, and I'm really wanting to be part of this important process because I think the message is so important. And if, let's say, there's someone else can come into the bookstore. It doesn't have to be, Olivia. It could be somebody else, where the parent comes in and says, my child's always lying. I don't know what to do about my child lying. And then there's a book about lying, and we can talk about that. But I think in each episode, if there was a scene where the actual event occurs, I think that's very entertaining and very exciting for children to be watching. So I think when there's an episode where there's some movement, where there's a little bit of talking in the beginning, and then there's the real life experience where they get to see it, and then there's more talking, which is where the learning lesson is, whether it's a strategy. Like in the book Lying, what I say is that if you know you have to do something you have to lie about, then you know not to do it. In this book, there's also a topic about saying you're sorry. If you're sorry, change your behavior. So there's things like that. Another possibility is that people can come into my bookstore who are parents who need help with my child doesn't eat what I serve them. My child doesn't go to bed on the agreed upon bedtime. So there's a book for parents as well. Now, we don't have to have anything to do with the books. The topics are so engrossed in my daily living that I don't need the books, but I just thought for the bookstore that would be a cute, idea. And it could be something where books come to life and life goes to books, something like that. And then, I was thinking about names. It should have something to do with learning. The type of learning is social and emotional learning and daily living skills, but it's learning nonetheless. And I like the idea of promoting books because we want our young children to be readers. So it could be something about, love to learn with Minmin, something like that. I'm really only taping this to show you that I'm excited and I'm open and I want to be active and involved and do my part to make sure that we have success in this new adventure together.